We're live at the Lyrical Lounge. I'm your host, Charles Taylor, and this is just some ramblings of my thoughts. Today's episode, the first public episode actually, is going out to none other than my man, DillioT2K. And you know why? It's because your last couple videos, man, they've actually really got me inspired. I was watching this, talking about mental mistakes, and I'm going to pull that up again. We're going to just jump back into that. And I was also watching another one. What were you talking about here? Yeah, you're actually, the one I want to pull up is when you're talking about what do you do when the dream takes longer than expected. And like just that title alone is like encapsulates my story up until this point. And yeah, like you said a lot of things in that video that really just kind of hit home. So one of the things you were mentioning is just that like you just gotta put the content out there and stop, especially in the mental mistakes video you were talking about, stop letting your perception about what other people are gonna think of your work hold you back. So that's what this is, man. This is because of you. You've inspired me. First off, I've been a long time subscriber. To be honest, I haven't seen a lot of your content in the last like 4 or 5 years. Nonetheless, I've still been subscribed because way back in the day when I was getting into becoming a producer, you were one of those YouTubers that were out there that was putting up content that not only was super useful to me, but was also like, help give me that kick in the ass at that time even. And nothing's changed, man. Nothing's changed. So I really appreciate you, Dillio. Like I said, I want to pull this up.
Without a college degree.
And my mistake there. Let me mute that audio so we don't have to hear some ads. But hey, let's get you that ad revenue, right? Yeah, so I'll just shut up and let you do the talking for a while, because like I said, you said some pretty good points, so we're just gonna fade you in here, and yeah, so you should be able to see the screen now.
200,000 subscribers. I'm trying to push there, and I need your help to do that. So here's the background. So
subscribe.
For a while I was kind of digging through some CDs. Actually, I dig in some CDs right now, thinking about what I was going to talk about, because I was supposed to film this yesterday. And I was just going through old beat CDs. I don't know if you remember these are. I hope you're not too young to know what these are. Probably everybody still knows what these are. But I used to burn, I used to make beats on Free Loops, and I used to burn CDs and make songs.
So I'll actually stop you right there, man. Like, the era of music producing that you entered into was like just right before when I started getting into things. I come from the generation from that first flock of producers that the way we interacted with music had just shifted into the digital realm. Bygones were the CD and everything was the iPod, in terms of that's how you consumed it. And then, of course, like, that's all the digital files. So you got to download your music from somewhere, your LimeWires and all that jazz. So I saw the trajectory of where music production was headed. And it was definitely way more to working with a computer and stuff. So I had never learned how to play an instrument. I've never learned the relationship of playing music, actually freestyling and a good word would be improvisation. There's no improvising when you're clicking in MIDI notes, when you're clicking in the music that you want to hear. Everything's pre-scripted. Everything's has, a destination. And now in 2020, with the setup that I have, it works for me in opening the door to improvisation and that kind of stuff. Even, I can just start playing some music, actually. Don't worry, I'll actually try to keep it in the background, make sure my master volume is not too high there. And, we can just... Now, I'm not playing this, I'm just simply playing this for some background music, because this is just lots of ramble, and again, I just kind of want to get my thoughts out there. And I also noticed that that's what you did in your video, so I was like, hey man, I'm going to play some of my beats underneath as well, just to have a little background music, a little background noise. And I think that's awesome. So I want to skip ahead a little bit, maybe to some areas. I don't know where I am. Am I full screen or not? No.
Credibility becomes they came or they achieved a certain level of success. They might have had these placements, or they got this many amount of subscribers, or they got all this other stuff, and while their story was being built, you don't see that part of it. We don't.
This is what I was wanting to get to. So I love what you're saying here, man. For those of us that didn't watch the video, you're talking about how the journey of, whatever that destination looks like for you, the producer, it's the journey that happens that people don't see. They don't see the years of grinding. They don't see all of the attempts made to kind of get some notoriety and some backing, some support, and not just attempts, but failures at that. And then the small successes along the way. They don't see how people that I talk to, they don't realize how much is involved in music creation, how many different hands this music can exchange from before it reaches the platforms, before it's able to be consumed. So, you're talking about that grind, and to kind of summarize what I was getting from you to the point that I just had to click pause on the video and say, you know what, let me start speaking my thoughts here, because I'm having too many and I want to just share with you and with the YouTube community as well. What I was receiving from that video, that is just that, making your way through that grind is not really being showcased by anybody. A lot of people are sharing the edited videos and not sharing, these awkward pauses when you're trying to collect your thoughts like I am, or that kind of jazz. And I don't want to come across as trying to be like, hey, I'm the guy that's out there doing that and I need respect for that. No, not at all. I don't even have videos out there. I don't have that content out there. But the reason that I don't have content out there is because exactly what you're saying, that fear of showcasing the not the ugly side of things, but just the awkwardness and the technical fucking difficulties, man. So much time I've spent in the studio is just troubleshooting issues, and that can really put a hinder on like making the music or making whatever it is that you want to do. So you know what, I want to take it a step further and take what you're saying is that like nobody's showcasing that. Well, you know what, let's do that. Let's showcase that a little bit. This kind of live thing that I'm doing right here, I'm gonna continue first and foremost, and there's no real like end destination or goal or anything like that. I do want to make a living doing this, but more importantly, I want to kind of showcase time and what happens along this journey and how it's not always that packaged, polished product in the end. I want to give a background on the tools that I'm working with, how I'm approaching it, the people that are inspiring me, the content that they're producing compared to the content that's out there in the zeitgeist of our media consumption, compared to what I'm offering into our small communities, into this zeitgeist. So yeah, Dillio, like, I don't know, man, you just definitely have struck some nerves in what you're talking about there. Let's hear you ramble on for a little bit longer.
In product, we see the polished YouTube videos, we see the polished numbers, the polished product, the polished communities around, but we don't see the before. We don't see all of that stuff. And so, you know, I think that as for me, as I'm still in this journey, as I'm still in this process for as long as I've been, I'm still in this process. I think I have a special perspective, and I think I have a certain credibility of saying, showing you guys that, hey, I'm still here. Things aren't exactly the way I want them to be, and I'm still moving forward. So, you know, the truth is, you know, we hear about a lot of people's journeys, and it's like, okay, wow, I want that to be my journey. I want something like that happening in my life. But the truth is, everybody's journey is their own, and it's not going to look the same way. And I said this before in previous videos, if it doesn't look like theirs, doesn't necessarily must mean that it's the wrong journey. We all have to find out our own journeys, and you know, the way that they got success, even though we do all these little tidbits on Instagram, I see all these little tidbits and tips and everything, may not necessarily work. It doesn't mean that it won't work, but it does not necessarily mean it will. And I wish more YouTubers and more personalities would address that. But that's their business. I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm still here with it, you know. And you know, everything to this point is before the dream happening. Now I've achieved some things. You know, I can't say that I haven't produced for tracks, or I haven't sold beats on BeatStars, or made a few good YouTube videos or anything like that. You know, there is something there, and I think it's important.
Now, I'm really curious, man, to hear directly from you as to like, what are the accolades that you're most proud of? What are the measures of success that you've achieved that you really take to heart the most, and what means a lot from you, and a little bit of background from that? It'd be really fun to hear you kind of speak on that. Maybe we can get to do that one time. Yeah, like I have a lot of things going through my head that I really want to share, and every time I sit down to do it and to produce some content, it's just like I get not overwhelmed, but kind of swamped with just all of those things, and then I can't even pick out a single thread of something that I want to comment on. Uh, it just, you just kind of get blinded by being at the station and ready to press buttons. But I don't know. Maybe that doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, that's just, it is what it is. I do kind of want to just say a little bit more about not necessarily my background, but maybe just I'll talk about what's happening now. Like in this moment, I'm here in my home studio, somehow still have a home studio, somehow through all of the things I've wanted to try and accomplish through life, through all of the different phases that I've gone through, music and music creation specifically has been the thing that has really kept me, not kept me grounded, it has kept me grounded, but I mean, has been the thing that's like stuck with me. Yeah, I started producing like a long time ago, but I haven't really like, done anything notable, done anything there. The one thing that I am proud of that I'm doing right now, and the content that I'm pushing out the most, would definitely be my Lyrical Lounge live page on Instagram. And that is actually sourced from my Spotify playlist. So if anybody's wondering about like content that they can consume that is related to me and what I'm doing, here it is. Every week, Spotify recommends songs to listen to. If you didn't know, it is right here, Discover Weekly. So they will recommend a mixtape to me, and all I do is listen through it every week, like the things that I like, and anything that I draw inspiration from, anything that really just, I can go on record as saying like, yeah, I love that. Like, that's a great song. That's what it's all about. This is why I love music. Well, those examples are all put together in my Lyrical Lounge playlist that anybody can follow. It's there. There are a ton of songs to be inspired by. So I will share that every week on Instagram, all the different tracks. For example, this last week, this is an amazing track. Marco Polo, Master Ace, Pearl Gates, Her. And there's a few others each week, maybe the max I think I'll end up throwing up there is maybe like five, 6 songs for the week. And sometimes there's nothing recommended by Spotify that I liked. It was all trash. So it's kind of like a fun little thing for me and takes away the pressure of like my own personal music, It's not about me here. This is about the music that inspires me, because something happened a long time ago. I asked a friend of mine to recommend some music to me because I noticed that he had great taste in music. The music he was liking is the same music that coincidentally I liked, but I just had never heard of before. And that experience, him constantly recommending me stuff to listen to, oftentimes overwhelming amounts of music, but nonetheless, like, that definitely changed the trajectory of my life. That music influenced me, not the recommendation, but the music itself, really, like, I took a second glance at the status of my life and like where I was and what I was doing and all that stuff. This page is me trying to pay that forward to anybody interested in these kind of sounds. I think it's a little diverse, still very niche in like a particular type of kind of hip hop, but Anyways, that's what I'm consistently doing every week, posting there. And I'm working on personal music to share. One thing that is holding me back a lot, or the content that I want to be putting out there, but am just not pulling the trigger on it, is putting up content to YouTube or in video form that's kind of a little bit more easy to consume for a broader audience. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but you know, that is what it is. It's going to be a really shaky video here, but I have to show you guys what's going on here, just so you can see the setup. The beat, the music, and I know it's nothing special, but let me pull this up so I can see. So I got my mixer over here. That's what I'm actually controlling right now. Different volumes and stuff, muting different groups. I can even solo some stuff if I want to. And this beat was made on the MPC Live, which I'm a rookie with, kinda. I've only had the Live for like since February, so March, April, May. Yeah, not even 3 months I've had this Live in there. Oh, you guys can't hear this music? No. This is the funny part. That's so hilarious, but not really. Let me at least. We're not gonna go out like that. I'm gonna let you hear some of this music. Technical difficulties all the time, right? So let me see. There you go. Now you can hear. That's funny. Dillio and others, like, can you guys relate? Are these the growing pains you want to see, Dillio? All right, let's just have some fun. So I started with this loop. I'm gonna do a deconstruction here a little bit for you. As a producer, I started with this loop. Just paying attention to my levels, making sure I'm not going too loud here. And then I knew I wanted to add some percussions and stuff in here, so if I mute all of these, and I kind of want to like some sparse, weird things happening in here, so like not really a conventional pattern for the hi-hats. And then I knew it needed some drum that are a little bit thicker. This is a loop I've used many times before, and so have many others. Then I added a bass line in there. And now this is like a cool kind of off-kilter beat. And if you listen to it a little bit, allow it to loop, it kind of gets embedded in your brain. But I knew I could take it a little bit further and add a couple more layers. So I started with that second layer of drums. So we got to that point, and then I added in some to get the head nod kind of going. Anyways, yeah, I guess this is like just let's ramble in front of the camera for a while kind of style. But there's so much more that I want to share, so much more going on. It's just hard to kind of wrap it all around and then figure out like what to say, especially when like the whole concept of this is to just be live and like I don't have a video editor, and the ironic thing of that is I went to school for video production. And I'm basically like, video work? Nah, fuck that. I can't do it. You know why? I'll explain why. Is because I don't have the time to be editing videos, to be writing scripts, to be storyboarding, to be really focused in on the visual of it. And my resources for those things, lighting, cameras, etc., the video editor, I don't have those things right now. I don't have the tools, and I don't have the time to be putting in that effort for seemingly zero views. And that's simply because I became a father not long ago, so my time is really focused on that. Like obviously that's way more important than putting out videos, especially when no one's watching. So don't have the time to be having that full script. Thus, you have me here in that live, raw, unedited format, cringy, awkward, whatever you want to call it. But honestly, I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm really anxious to see where I am 6 months from now, where this journey is going, who comes along with us, who's gonna Zoom chat with me, and those kind of things. Like, I'm excited for the things that get the adrenaline going. I was sitting on the couch the other day just thinking about different things I could do, and like honestly my heart's pumping, and I'm like, man, like that'd be so awesome. I feel like a kid again. It's great. It's awesome. Again, this is all inspired by Dillio, by you here. So we'll close out on your page. If you guys have not ever checked out Dillio, he's one of the YouTube creators that I have been inspired from multiple times over. So Dillio, once again, thank you. Thank you for inspiring the first episode of, I guess I'm calling it the Lyrical Lounge live podcast. Maybe I get to hear from you. Maybe this goes out to the 0 views, or maybe my mom watches. I don't know. Thanks, man. Congrats, by the way, getting your channel back. That was a little bit scary, eh? Like I said, I haven't really kept up to date with you for a very, very long time. And then I saw that video. My channel got hacked. It's not me. And I was like, oh, damn. So that's when I started clicking back on those thumbnails and saying, you know, what's he been up to? What's good with him? So anyways, enough of this. Let me close out. Peace.